Chief Albert Luthuli, the peaceful revolutionary who shaped South Africa. A deep dive into Chief Luthuli's life, highlighting his path from teacher to Zulu chief and his rise in the anti-apartheid movement. You could discuss how his nonviolent approach influenced future South African leaders and shaped the nation's history. Chief Albert John Vumbai Luthuli, circa 1898-1967, was a powerful figure in South Africa's anti-apartheid struggle and the first African to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. Here are some additional details about his life, achievements, and impact. Early life and education. Birth and heritage. Although there is some uncertainty about his birth date, it is believed Luthuli was born around 1898 in what is now Zimbabwe. His family later moved back to South Africa, settling in Groutville, KwaZulu-Natal. Luthuli grew up in a Zulu Christian household, and his father passed away when he was young. Chief Albert Luthuli had a close-knit family life that deeply influenced his journey, though they also endured hardships due to his political activism. Here are some insights into his family. Parents. Father. His father, John Bunyan Luthuli, was a Christian missionary and interpreter. Originally from South Africa, he moved to present-day Zimbabwe for missionary work, but died when Luthuli was still a child. Mother. Antonia Luthuli raised him after his father's passing and instilled in him the importance of education and Christian values. She moved back to Groutville, South Africa, with her children, where Albert grew up and eventually became a chief. Marriage and children. Wife. Albert Luthuli married Nokukenya Bengu, a descendant of Zulu royalty, in 1927. Nokukenya was also an educator and a staunch supporter of her husband's activism. She stood by his side during challenging times, including his numerous arrests and bans, despite the risks involved. Children. Albert and Nokukenya had 7 children together. They experienced a family life disrupted by his frequent imprisonments, bans, and restrictions on his movement, yet they remained resilient. Nokukenya played a critical role in supporting and raising their children during these times, often single-handedly. Legacy and influence on family. Chief Luthuli's legacy continued through his family. His wife, Nokukenya, became a notable figure in her own right, advocating for social justice and education in their community. Some of their descendants remain active in South Africa, honoring Luthuli's legacy by participating in social justice causes, preserving his memory, and contributing to efforts to educate the youth about South Africa's history and the fight for freedom. Education. Luthuli's mother, an advocate for education, encouraged him to pursue schooling. He attended Adams College in Amanzimtoti, where he completed his education and trained as a teacher. He later taught at the same college and was a respected educator before transitioning into activism and traditional leadership. Career as a chief and community leader. Appointment as chief. In 1936, Luthuli was elected as the chief of the Zulu community in Groutville. This position brought him closer to the struggles of his people, who were facing issues related to land, poverty, and discrimination. His dedication to his role helped him build a reputation as a fair and caring leader. Focus on social justice. As chief, he advocated for social justice and spoke out against policies that restricted the rights of Black South Africans. His commitment to his people's welfare eventually brought him into the orbit of the African National Congress, ANC, where he saw an opportunity to amplify the fight for equality. Anti-apartheid activism. Joining the ANC, Luthuli joined the African National Congress in the 1940s and quickly rose to prominence as a respected leader within the organization. In 1952, he became the ANC's president, just as the apartheid system was intensifying. Defiance Campaign. One of his major contributions to the anti-apartheid movement was his leadership in the Defiance Campaign of 1952, where he encouraged peaceful civil disobedience against apartheid laws. His commitment to nonviolent protest and his dignified resistance earned him widespread admiration. Government repression. Luthuli's activism was met with government pushback. In 1953, he was ordered to choose between his chieftaincy and his political work. Refusing to give up his role in the ANC, he was deposed as chief. This only strengthened his resolve, and he continued his activism despite arrests, bans, and government attempts to silence him. Nobel Peace Prize and legacy. Nobel Peace Prize. In 1960, Luthuli was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in recognition of his efforts to fight apartheid peacefully. He traveled to Norway to receive the award, where he delivered a powerful speech calling for global support for South Africa's freedom and justice. Philosophy of nonviolence. Luthuli's commitment to nonviolence was central to his philosophy. He believed that racial harmony and peaceful protest were essential to the country's future. Despite increasing violence from the apartheid government, he remained firm in his belief in peace as a tool for change. Impact on future leaders. Luthuli's peaceful stance and vision influenced future South African leaders, including Nelson Mandela. Mandela and others admired Luthuli's ability to stand against injustice with grace, patience, and strength, qualities that became integral to the anti-apartheid movement. Chief Albert Luthuli shared strong relationships with several influential figures, both in South Africa and abroad, who supported and shared in his vision of equality and nonviolence. Here are some notable individuals he had positive relationships with. 1. Dr. Alfred Bitini Xuma. Xuma, a physician and former president of the African National Congress, ANC, was a mentor to Luthuli when he first joined the ANC. Xuma helped him understand the organization's goals and the political landscape of South Africa. Their relationship was based on a shared vision of advancing the rights of Black South Africans, and Luthuli drew upon Xuma's leadership style when he later took on the role of ANC president. 2. Mahatma Gandhi. Although Gandhi had already left South Africa by the time Luthuli rose to prominence, his philosophy of nonviolent resistance greatly influenced Luthuli's approach to the anti-apartheid movement. Luthuli admired Gandhi's strategy and applied similar principles in the ANC's campaigns. This ideological connection fostered a symbolic relationship, and Gandhi's work continued to inspire Luthuli's commitment to peaceful protest. 3. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Although they never met, Luthuli and Dr. King shared a mutual respect and deep ideological connection. Both leaders believed in nonviolent resistance to end racial injustice. When Dr. King received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964, he acknowledged Luthuli's influence, noting his contribution to the global movement for civil rights. Their shared vision established a powerful, transcontinental bond between the African and African American struggles for freedom. 4. Oliver Tambo. As a prominent member and later president of the ANC, Tambo worked closely with Luthuli in organizing campaigns and promoting the ANC's agenda. Tambo looked up to Luthuli as a guiding moral leader in the struggle, and they shared a dedication to nonviolence. Luthuli's approach influenced Tambo's own leadership style, and Tambo later helped to keep Luthuli's legacy alive during his years in exile. 5. Nelson Mandela. Although Mandela eventually adopted a different stance on resistance, moving towards an armed struggle with the formation of Umkhonto we Sizwe, he deeply respected Luthuli's principles of nonviolence. Luthuli's leadership and his calm, moral authority left a lasting impact on Mandela. In fact, Mandela credited Luthuli as a guiding light in the movement and often referred to him as an inspiration. 6. Reverend Michael Scott. A British priest and anti-apartheid activist, Scott was one of the earliest international supporters of South Africa's liberation struggle and formed a friendship with Luthuli. They connected through a shared commitment to justice and peace. Scott's influence helped bring global awareness to the apartheid struggle, and he worked alongside Luthuli to advocate for the rights of the marginalized. 7. Reverend Trevor Huddleston. A vocal opponent of apartheid, Huddleston was a British Anglican priest who developed a strong connection with Luthuli through their shared commitment to fighting apartheid. Huddleston's activism extended beyond the pulpit as he mobilized international support against apartheid. Luthuli valued his friendship and support, and they worked together to raise awareness about the apartheid system. These relationships highlighted Luthuli's ability to build alliances and maintain a high moral standard within his leadership circle. His connections helped amplify his influence globally, drawing the world's attention to South Africa's struggle and furthering the push for justice and equality. Later years and death. Continued struggles. Luthuli faced constant surveillance and harassment from the apartheid government, which restricted his movement and limited his political activities. Despite these restrictions, he remained a respected figure and continued advocating for human rights. Death. Albert Luthuli died on July 21, 1967, under mysterious circumstances after being struck by a train near his home. The circumstances of his death remain unclear, and suspicions linger over whether it was an accident or an assassination due to his political activism. Legacy. Chief Luthuli's legacy endures as a symbol of peaceful resistance and integrity in the face of oppression. His autobiography, Let My People Go, is a powerful account of his life, beliefs, and the struggles faced by Black South Africans. Numerous institutions and places have been named in his honor, and his life continues to inspire those who fight for justice and equality.